So I haven't done this before. I'm going to try to ask a question, then I'll read what I have to you. This is for the Tulip Reformed Calvinist people. How come the disciples, all 12 of them, were basically going to be heaven bound, except for Judas? How come they didn't believe? How come they didn't trust? How come they didn't have faith? How come they exhibited so many times not to believe, not to have faith? And why did Jesus rebuke them for that? Isn't the gift of faith a gift that the Father gives? Didn't Jesus understand who would and wouldn't have faith? Why would Jesus use such weird and chaotic language? Why would he rebuke the 11 faithful disciples for not having faith when it's God's job to grant them faith, to unconditionally and irresistibly give them faith? So you can stop listening now and answer that question, or you can read along with me. Now, RCC, in case you don't know, is Reformed Calvinist Christian. Why did they not trust? Why did they exhibit so little faith? Let's see. Scripture reveals many people seeking Jesus without faith. How is that possible? I thought they had to be irresistibly regenerated, and then they start to seek, then they show interest. But what I mean by thousands is there's different verses that show groups of people following Jesus around with high interest. See, some disciples believe, some don't. Some have faith, some don't. Some disciples understand, some don't. Some disciples trust, some don't. Some are confused and are without understanding. How can all of this be? How can the disciples be following Jesus before they believe, before they're born again? How is that possible? How come some of the disciples show such hardness of heart? How come they lack faith? Mark 16:14. Afterwards, he appeared to the 11 themselves as they were reclining at the table, and he rebuked them for their unbelief and hardness of heart. What? The 11 that go on to write the Bible? They were rebuked? They didn't have enough faith. That's interesting. God grants it. And why? Why rebuke? That's probably my main question. Why does Jesus rebuke them in this point? Shouldn't he say, hey, your faith is coming, y'all? God just, when he grants it and gifts it and irresistibly makes it happen so that you'll persevere, this will all come. So Jesus should have exhibited patience, shouldn't he? Matthew 17:20. He said to them, because of your little faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith, okay. Matthew 15. And he said, are you all still without understanding? What? Do you not see? So why does Scripture record these confusing, situations for believers and unbelievers alike? So I chose to put this argument in my own commentary. I'm getting ready to do John chapter 11. What I want you to see in John 11 is, man, the worry, the lack of faith, the lack of understanding shows up 10 more times from John 11 till the end of the Gospel of John. My overarching argument is the Calvinists shouldn't be using the book of John to prove irresistible grace and election. It's not there. I don't see it. So here, go and see it for yourself. You'll see it all here. I don't need to read those. Okay, and in most of those scriptures, not all, most, so I'm not trying to trick you, somehow they lack understanding or belief or faith in some way. Then, of course, you can go to all of these in the Gospels, and you got additional scripture that seems to say the same thing. Only those, according to RCC, Reformed Calvinist Christians, only those that have irresistibly been regenerated seek. What the heck is our good friend Nicodemus doing then? Okay, maybe I'll stop here and give you a part 2. What's Nicodemus doing? How does Nicodemus in John 3:1, John 3:2 say, we know that you must be from God? Only a God-given person could do such miraculous miracles and signs and wonders. Wait a second. How could he admit those spiritual truths? How could Nicodemus know such a thing and be unregenerate? So I'll stop there, Maybe I'll give you a part 2. Again, the overarching question: how can believers to be exhibit no faith, no understanding? And why would they be rebuked by Jesus for not, especially if Jesus knows God's got to gift it, grant it, and irresistibly put it into their heart, right? Romans 12:3, according to John Piper. But we'll cover that in a different video. Head scratchers abound.